Earlier, they'd waited for her to return home for a birthday party. Now they visited the scene of her murder. Her husband, Paul, had to break the news to their children.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Just didn't know how to say it, literally. Sort of how do you explain to your kids that the mother's dead? Once I'd sort of sat them down and sort of told them it, I think it would have disbelieved the kids. It just wasn't, because obviously with them being so young, no one's experienced sort of death within family sort of thing, and it's just all tears and crying and whatever else, and it's just like you think, God, it's how do you go on from here, sort of thing.
The shooting brought home the dangers faced by British police officers on a daily basis.
When one of your colleagues is killed and another one's shot and is in the hospital, your world kind of comes crashing down, that you realise that this could have been any one of us. A number of us got the call and requested to go to the job. Any one of us could have been there, and it does make you feel very vulnerable.
As well as Sharon's murder, detectives had a vicious and violent robbery to investigate. This might also hold vital clues to the killers.
The crime is horrendous. Members of staff, visitors to the premises are actually tied up using cable ties. They're forced onto the ground, they're pistol whipped, and they're threatened to kill the youngest male, the youngest brother of the boys that work there. Now, as robberies go, it doesn't get much more serious than this.
Despite being held at gunpoint, the travel agents had secretly activated their silent panic alarm. It was this emergency call that brought Sharon and Teresa to the scene. As the robbers prepared to leave with just £5,000, the officers arrived at the shop door. Sharon and Teresa were immediately shot at point-blank range as the robbers escaped. Forensic teams scoured the shop and the street for clues. Inside, they found a laptop bag that the robbers used to conceal the guns, a knife wielded by one of the men. In the wall, a bullet fired by a MAC-10 submachine gun, and outside, 3 bullet casings, all fired from a 9mm handgun. As detectives worked around the clock at the scene, the team tasked with tracing the Toyota RAV4 received a call. It had been picked up by the Metropolitan Police in South London. Could this be the breakthrough they were looking for? A series of raids on houses and flats in the capital produced 6 suspects. An armed police convoy brought them back up the M1 to West Yorkshire for questioning.
Experience tells me that you don't automatically assume that they are involved. We know that somehow that vehicle's involved, and it's a huge amount of work to have to start eliminating them or implicating them as being involved.
It soon became clear the car was being used as a pool car by criminals. But the 6 suspects had nothing to do with the car at the time of the shooting. It was a setback for the team.
People are suddenly realising that you've arrested 6 people in connection with this horrific crime, and suddenly you have to start bailing people as well. And people start to think, oh, where are we going with this investigation now?
It was back to the drawing board for detectives. Luckily, key witness PC Teresa Milburn was making a remarkable recovery. She was ready to return home to be with her husband Chris and 15-year-old son James, and she desperately wanted to help the investigation.
Came out of hospital and then did 2 days of video interviews which are done with key witnesses. Reliving everything again. That was very emotional, very hard. But you need to do it. You need to do that in order to assist the investigation. And yeah, I had injuries, I was in pain.
In the rear of the vehicle on this side, we also recovered a Ribena pack, which allowed us to undertake fingerprints and DNA work on that. On this side of the vehicle, we also recovered a water bottle, a sandwich pack and a till receipt from Woolly Edge service station. That was timed shortly after 6 p.m. on Friday the 18th of November. By recovering the vehicle within 24 hours, we allowed our forensics people to go through the vehicle with a fine-tooth comb. It gave us some really good forensic opportunities in relation to identifying who'd used that vehicle on the Friday. I was able to identify 3 people who I believe were responsible for that robbery.
They were Musaka Shah, Yusuf Jama, and his brother, Mustaf Jama. These were now the most wanted men in Britain. But where had they gone?
Can I have a kiss?
Sharon Beshanivsky was not just a police officer who lost her life doing the job she loved. She was also a devoted mum.
Mummy.
She was killed on her daughter Lydia's 4th birthday. Now her husband Paul has to adapt to the family life they'd planned, without her at the centre.
Our future plans was, that she could work, I could work a little bit less, and we sort of always wanted to sort of have the sort of country life. We thought it'd be a better life, bringing the kids up with a country life. It was a dream home. We sort of bought it sort of in the summer, and all the plans that we had of what we were going to do, and Sharon were even talking about, Lydia having a marquee on lawn for a wedding and all this sort of thing, It was sort of all everything pre-planned of what you're going to do, and, and then everything sort of fell to pieces.
Every murder is a challenge for the police, but when one of their own is killed, they are very determined to catch who did it.